Oh my gosh. All right. Vocoder. So, welcome back to this tutorial series. My name is Plague, and we're talking about every single effect on the MK1. We're talking about the vocoder today, available on just input effect and track effects A. Oh my gosh, this is the rabbit hole in this one. So, the vocoder is one of my favorite sounds in all of music. I am in love with how the vocoder sounds, and I nearly cried when I discovered that the MK1 has a vocoder on it because I love it so much. But I'm not going to talk about it in detail about this vocoder or any vocoder because the video would already exceed the allowable upload length on YouTube. There are a ton of different vocoders out there, differentiating themselves from with how they process the carrier signal to a math that it does or it wants to do. Daft Punk is probably one of the most famous uses of the vocoder in a lot of their songs. I'm going to the history again. Focus, Plague. Focus. Okay. We have parameters. We have 4 parameters. We have the carrier signal, the modulation sensitivity, the attack, and the balance. Let's talk about the first one. The carrier. This is what the track uses to create the signal. So it needs a stimulus. This is the stimulus. So in this case, it's track 1, but you can do any one of the track numbers to create whatever it is. If I have the vocoder on right now, to hear my voice at all. It almost stops. The reason being is because the carrier in this case is track 1. Well, track 1 is stopped, so there's literally nothing going into the carrier or the vocoder, so there's nothing to process, therefore it outputs nothing. So if you're wondering, like, why is this not working? Play the track first, activate the vocoder. So we'll just do track 3, and now all of a sudden, now I have a vocoding voice. But basically, now we have this really nice vocoding sound that we can talk, and it is taking what's on this track here and processing it through the vocoder. So you can do this with anything, as long as you have the track playing and the track number is on the correct thing, then you can have that do whatever you want. But make sure this is correct. And then work on your balance. Alright, so now that you understand how the carrier works and how to actually turn the vocoder on, that you have to have the track playing while it's on, so it has something to carry. Let's move on to the next parameter, which is the modulation sensitivity. What the mod sense does is it is how sensitive the vocoder is and using the sounds coming into the mic. So, like, it'll pick up on your breathing, the breathing between your words or not. So feedback is another consideration when figuring out what your mod sensitivity you want, and this will also make the vocoder louder, but again, it's how sensitive is it to the sounds that are coming in. Alright, so I have this on 50, but if I turn it up, you should be able to hear the breathing in between my words, whereas normally if I have this way down, you don't hear the breathing as much. So, and this could be like up really high, so I'm going to turn it up like a lot. So yeah, you can hear it quite a bit. Play around with this. Again, feedback is definitely a consideration, as well as balance with what you're trying to do. Next is going to be attack. So attack is how quickly the vocoder comes in. So 0 means it will fade in. 100 means it comes in instantly. I really wish that 0 came in much slower than it does. It's you'll be able to pick it up once I give you an example, but it is really hard to detect the attack even at 0. And I really wish that the attack at 0 was much slower, like a full measure at least. Like, my gosh. So I really don't understand why it's so quick. But in any case, let me show you what the attack is, like what I mean by fading in. All right, so I'm going to have the sensitivity at maximum. I'm going to have the balance at maximum, and I'll show you with the attack how it comes in. You can hear it's kind of like fading in. That's what attack means. Then finally there's balance. Balance is going to be extremely important. So this is how much of the vocoder covers your raw sound that you're putting into the microphone or on the track, whatever it happens to be. How do you get the vocoder to work? I already explained a little bit that before. You need a carrier track to be playing in order for it to be working. You can have it fader up or fader down. It doesn't matter. And it is unaffected by any track effects that you have. So I have like 8 ring mods on. You can have the vocoder on, and it won't be detecting any of the ring mods that are on either. So even if you have it on a carrier track, it doesn't matter. I have this harmony recorded, put a chorus on it. The chorus doesn't matter. I can even put like 8 vocal distortions on it. Sounds like crap. Holy sounds like crap. But
with the vocoder, it sounds really nice, even with all the distortions, because it's not.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. It's not picking up on any of the track effects that are happening here. So one cool trick that you can do is you can record something that is vocoded and then delete the carrier track to put something else there. So you can even have it dormant and the undo if you want. So like, for example, what we can do is we can be having this down, and then we can have the track playing. And now I can even undo it after the fact. So you don't need the carrier anymore, because now you have it recorded. Pretty cool. Another thing to keep in mind is that it turns any sound into the vocoder, even breathing, which can work out really, really well. So sometimes I'll use my breathing as the way to activate the vocoder. It works similar to the oscillator bot on the MK2. But one thing to keep in mind is you want to watch your feedback, because if you're, like, for example, I have my input knob up a little bit, but you want to be careful with the level of feedback that you have with the vocoder and your input knob, because it can pick up ambient noise as well as the sound that's coming in from your music. I'm going to give you a pro tip, and this is very important. This is a pro tip exclusively from Plague to you. I need to make this dramatic. Nobody knows what you're saying. If you are talking while you have the vocoder on, stop. I'll tell you how to fix that, but for now, I need to rant. The sound gets so processed that it's hard to understand words. So you can hear them, you can hear the words because you know what you're saying. I'll give you a perfect example. What song is this? Can you tell what song that is? No, it just sounds like tapping. They all sound the same note because it's on the same part of the loop station, right? But that's jingle bells. I tapped out jingle bells. Now I'll tap it again. Now that you know I'm doing jingle bells, and you'll hear the different sound. You'll hear the different notes. This is literally called the curse of knowledge, and there are studies on this. You know what you're saying, so you think that you are clear as day. Like, of course I'm saying used to the isolation, or this is a vocoder, or suck my ass. Whatever you're saying in your lyrics, you can hear them very clearly. Your audience who has never heard them cannot hear them. Several tricks that can help people into understanding what you're saying.
So one trick that you can use is you can use subtitles. Oh, wait, hold on.
Sorry.
One trick that you can use is subtitles. Now you can understand the words that I'm saying because you can read them on the bottom here.
Makes sense. Cool. Another thing that you can do is you can say the line or word without the vocoder first and prime your audience. If you prime the audience, they will know what you're saying. I could say something like, this is the vocoder.
This is the vocoder.
Now you can hear exactly what I'm saying. So you can prime the audience. You can be like, suck my whatever, and
suck my whatever.
So you can hear what the vocoder is saying, even
though it's at 100%
balance. Another trick that you can do is you can just say the song title only. So you already have that primed, because if people know the song title, then you just say the song title and they're like, oh, that's what they're saying. Cool. So just say the song title. Another thing you can do is enunciate what you are saying. So with the vocoder on, you can, I have the vocoder off right now, so you can hear the enunciation that I am doing. The last thing you can do is you can bring down the balance so that your clear and beautiful voice shines through as well. So 50-50 is a great balance to have for this effect. This is your secret sauce right here. Vocoder with reverb. Reverb. Oh, that is going to elevate your vocoder. That's the secret. That's the spice that you add, the Salt Bae, to the vocoder. Because if you, sorry, again, you can't understand me. If you add vocal distortion or an EQ to brighten it up, that's okay. But if you add both, so again, we can have the vocoder on. Oh, hear that feedback? Yeah, hold on. Let me adjust my level. There we go. All right, so we have the vocoder on, but once I add the reverb, now we're taking it to another magical level. This is awesome. Now you have some reverb in there. Ooh, shit. Yeah, crank that shit up. Or not that much, but I usually put the reverb at around 50. If you put it at 50, that's a good balance of nice reverb, and you can make all kinds of stuff with that.
Alright, here we go. You wanna jump up and move like a drive time. You wanna jump up and move like a drive time. You wanna jump up and move like a drive time. You wanna jump up and move like a drive time. You wanna jump up and move like a drive time.
All right, I'm just having fun now. Anyways, so another thing you can do is you can use the vocoder to harmonize with yourself. So Chris the Odeon uses this with his track. It's him versus Dice during GVB.
I can take you on display. Have you reached it? Have you understand? Mysteries about the life. Go with me, you'll never have to surrender.
Amazing job. Notice that his balance is not 100%. It's actually quite low. So then he can actually, his beautiful voice can actually shine through the track, which is really nice. So another thing is you can use it to sample just a single note. So here's an example. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a panning delay, my vocoder, and of course some reverb. And I'm going to sample just a little bit of this synth that I have here. So I'm just going to go duh in the microphone and you'll hear it captured. And you can sample that and whatever you want, and then you can delete your carrier or do whatever it is you want, and then you can sample something like that.
Take off your blindfold. Take off your blindfold.
Another thing you can do is you can make your own sequencer with the vocoder. So, because all you do is go ah into the microphone and it'll do the sound. So you can have a slicer P13 with a rate of an eighth note, make your harmony or whatever, and then you just turn the vocoder on. So you can have your very own MK2 sequencer right there. Pretty sick. Another idea is pairing the vocoder with a robot. For whatever reason, I think it's because the robot, like if you make a robot harmony, it sounds really, really nice. So if you pair the vocoder with a robot, it sounds really cool. And if you add a vocal distortion onto it and put the vocoder, like the attack, on 0, you can get a really cool electric guitar sound. Vocoder with attack of 0, vocal distortion on it, maybe not that strong, but 50%, and a reverb. With that said, you can also add it to your drums. Almost a slicer effect on what your harmony or whatever you're making. Another thing that you can do is you can turn any sound that you want into a vocoded sound just by putting the carrier to itself. So let's say you record your harmony. What you can do is then take your vocoder, put the track carrier on the track itself, and then you can turn any track into a vocoded version of itself. That's it. That is the, well, it's not it. There's a billion other ideas you can do with vocoder. Like I said, I love this damn effect. But in any case, if you want more information on the vocoder, I placed an amazing video in the description. It's great for understanding the vocoder in this specific context too. So definitely check out that video. It's in the description. Finally, let's look at a track that utilizes the vocoder. One of the hardest parts about this song, by the way, is breath, because you're constantly making like random crap in the microphone, but eventually you run out of breath. So that's where it's important to actually use breathing in the vocoder. But anyways, let's take a look.